start recording and don't start streaming. All right. Welcome anybody who's watching. Welcome, Joel, to my house.
Yes, here I am. This
So
is podcast 523.
yep,
No,
We've-
5 years in.
all the other ones haven't been recorded.
Yeah, no, they're actually on our
We
hard
haven't
drive.
uploaded them.
Yeah, no, we're going to release them all at the same time.
Yeah. So this is just as Joel kind of alluded to, a podcast about just life and just a conversation. So
Things we like to talk about.
yeah. We have lots of conversations, as you know. I assume there'll be a couple people who watch this who have probably heard our conversations.
Yeah. I just feel like every time me and Brody talk, or like, it always turns into a long format conversation. It's not passing. It's like, literally, we were at the skate park the other day, and I was just finished work, and it was like, 7:30, I'm gonna go home, and then as I'm leaving, like me and Brody are like leaving at the same time, but like we're standing outside the skate park
At McDonald's car park.
like for 40 minutes. No, I was talking about the one at Noble Park. It was like literally the day before. Where we're standing and we're talking about like a god in the Middle Ages and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the
So
car park, yeah.
We literally
I remember
talked for an hour and a half, and I knew I had to go to bed because I had to get up early in the morning for work. And I'm like kept checking my watch, but like it's such a fun, like we always have such fun.
Yeah, I remember.
Like good conversations, like, I'm gonna leave in 10 minutes, and then like 20 minutes later I'm like, I should leave in 5 minutes.
Well, what was the one at Berwick? It was
The one at Berwick was insane.
got to go by 9, I think you said, and we left it.
10
or
I literally got home at like 10:30 and I
Yeah.
meant to sleep at 10.
Yeah,
Because we
that's- I
got
remember
talking
that,
about like big pharma and like how like vaccines get pushed and stuff, and like obviously if you know us, then I edge more on the side of science, or like heavily on the side of science, and Jody Brody is recently, or not
Christian,
recently.
just to interject, like the backstory for that is before would you just be able to see how much that goes red as well? Because if it goes red too much, like every now and then's alright, but if it's like red every couple of
It looks
seconds,
fine to
that's-
me.
Well, that's good. I'm gonna get a bit louder.
Sorry to interject.
Yeah, sorry to interject. We've just this is like it's not actually the 526.
No shit.
Yeah, so we've just like this is
Working
the
out the
first time
bugs.
we've got to do the mics and the camera. But so yeah, I was an atheist my whole life. Probably similar to how Joel was, how you were. Probably not so much now, but like before, like back when we were in school, we were pretty similar.
Yeah.
I was getting into more certain things like how we see in 2D. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no. Brody comes up to me, he's like, but we see in 2D. I'm like, no, we have
yeah.
depth perception. We can judge how far away things are, you know.
I don't know, like if this,
I kind of got what you're saying, but like,
yeah.
like to entertain that is like just
Yeah.
fucking
There was
stupid.
the thing in science, like I didn't come up with it myself, but it's like the way our eyes, like the light's projected onto the back of our retinas, is like onto a flat surface.
Yes.
Through our both eyes, we have depth perception, but so that was essentially what I was trying to explain.
if you're looking through one eye, I guess you can like try to argue that point.
Yeah, because we move, obviously we know things aren't 3D.
Yeah, because we have like
Yeah.
parallax and triangulation because we have two eyes. But you know, put
So-
two pens together holding one eye
Or
closed.
catch a ball.
Oh, yeah, do fucking anything.
Yeah, anything. So yeah, at that point, I was pretty much the same. Believed in, although I was going like I was saying, the 2D thing was when I was moving into a different direction. Like, and I knew about Nikola Tesla and some of the more unknown and kind of, I guess anybody who knows about Nikola Tesla knows.
Pioneers of the modern world.
Yeah, and some of his things that weren't so. Even now, people would say that's not possible. Some of the things Nikola Tesla.
Like I would argue some of the things that Nikola Tesla were proposing aren't possible. Like
Yeah.
like energy through the air. I mean,
Yeah,
like you have microwaves, but the amount of power you'd have to pump into a microwave without
yeah.
frying someone, you know, is insane. So like,
Yeah.
and people have tried wireless power, like with massive like laser arrays which fire into like photodiodes, photoresistors, like solar panels and that on the other side, which then reproduces the energy that the lasers put out, but it's just too inefficient.
Yep. And I was watching the thing about the Bob Lazar. I don't know what it is. So if anybody's watching, you might know him. Although I say anybody's watching, but we'll see how many people watch this. But anyway, Bob Lazar, he was talking about how he used to work, and he was working for Area S4 near, like right next to Area 51. A lot of people dispute whether he's like, really did that or not. But
It could be some crazy cunt.
yeah, but I think there's a lot of like people have been trying to disprove him for 15 years, and I think time and time again there's more information that comes out that he's legitimate. But he was essentially saying, so he talked about how he was employed by the military, the US military, to reverse engineer like essentially flying saucers, advanced aerial phenomena, or advanced aerial. But so not on that topic. And I will go back to how I became what I believe is what I believe. And
Yeah,
how
we got to be
control.
careful not to go on fucking tangents.
So
Because I know how we are. We'll literally start talking about one thing, and then we're immediately like down a tangent, and fucking half an hour later, we're like, what was the original question I posed?
Yeah.
But so
no, I'm aware of that. Bob Lazar was saying how if we went down, or might have been one of the similar people to Bob Lazar. I don't think it was Bob Lazar, but off when I was looking at Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan's podcast, I found this other guy who worked for the military or the CIA or something. Anyway, he was saying how if we went down the direction which Nikola Tesla wanted to go to with wireless technology, we wouldn't have computers nowadays because it would fry the electrical wiring and the circuit boards that we have in computers, because all this electricity, like we would have completely diverged into a different, I'll be right, into a different technological landscape.
Like micro circuits wouldn't be possible because of the amount of power like being produced would create such strong magnetic waves that would create resonance in these tiny circuits which allow them to function. Yeah,
that's what he was saying. The computers we have now, if all this, like, because obviously you know more about it than I do, but the electricity was flying through the air and it hits computers, they would like frazzle essentially.
Yeah, well, it's not that they'll frazzle. It's just like inductance is when there's a strong electromagnetic field and that induces current in conducting materials. So that's why we need like shields on microphone cables and things like that to stop other inductance creating interference, or when it's on a microphone cable or it's on some sort of audio equipment, that interference, you can hear it because your interface or whatever is got your computer or whatever picks that current up as the information that is noise. And now I don't know how, like,
just to interject, is that like when you turn up, like if I have my guitar plugged into my interface and I turn it up really loud, you get like white noise?
Yeah, because it's such tiny interference, or like most cables are pretty well insulated.
But when you turn it up really loud, you hear it?
Or it could also be like interference in the actual like box itself. Now, okay, back to what you were saying, because we're going to get on tangents if we keep doing this.
Yeah, that was, I believe, a thing with Nikola Tesla. That was kind of a divergence to just a story on the wireless energy. So at the point where I talked about the 2D thing with Joel, this was in 2017. I was 16 at the time. Joel would have been, or he would have already been 16 because his birthday is early in the year. But so I was looking into 2D. I knew about Nikola Tesla and the wireless energy, but also the energy that exists in the vacuum of space, those kind of things. We can talk about that.
We can get back to that later.
Yeah, that's I believe in quantum physics. That's like a proven thing now. It's not, but he was saying how you can harness that. But it's essentially how in a vacuum, it's not empty in a vacuum.
Well, I reckon before we
there's still energy in a vacuum.
Yeah, before we go down this line of like Nikola Tesla and all this shit. Before we get into the real meat of our burger, we should start off with the bun.
I love burgers.
And like go into like just introductory stuff. Yeah. Even though I know it's probably going to be like a couple friends first watch this, but say if it does pick up steam, you know.
Yeah.
You good?
You're just looking at the time. 9 minutes in. Let me just. It's 10 o'clock now, so we're 10 minutes in at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Should I? I'll try and like make it quick, but so just like my story of why, because I think we're going into how you were saying how you're, I don't know if you said you're an atheist, but what you believe in, how I'm like,
I feel like
Christian,
because
I'm a Christian.
The reason, basically what I was saying, or what I fucking started off saying,
I'm a Christian, but I don't represent Christianity. I just make that important. I believe a lot more things and different things than what your typical Christian will believe. So just, yeah, don't look at me as what a Christian...
Man of faith. Is that a better word?
Yeah, I'm a man of faith, but I also have a lot of fringe beliefs and I'm into a lot of other things. But
Yeah,
continue,
okay.
sorry.
Well, that's basically how you got into Christianity, was the
Yeah.
fringe beliefs. But before that, I was just trying to make a point on...
Metaphysics, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like the reason we get into such long conversations is because we're not completely like on opposite ends of the spectrum,
No.
but we
Especially now.
are very like different, but we have overlap, which is nice. That's why I like our conversations. They're not all like, we don't have to completely
It's not
disagree
just
on something.
Two sides.
We can accept some truths between us.
Yeah, yeah. This is like a thing recently where I was saying to you, I would come at you with like, so you're an atheist, therefore you must believe this, and this is why that's wrong.
Yeah.
And just recently, I actually had the thought in my head. I thought, well, you're not really an atheist. You know, like you are, but at the same time, especially now, you've become more open to.
I can accept stuff. Like there are things I don't know, and in that space of things I don't know, there could be truths that humans, or like humans as far as I'm concerned, haven't figured out yet. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what was before the Big Bang, and we don't know if the universe is eternal. So there could be some omnipotent being that maybe there's an overlap between... I think it's arrogant. I feel like I don't like using the word arrogance as like, because it has negative connotation, but I don't like the arrogance thinking that us as humans like spoke to this omnipotent being and suddenly figured everything out. But like, just as an example, I like using omnipotent being because it's like, instead of using God, because God just like, it sounds like I'm talking about the biblical God. Anyway, like, we don't know if before the Big Bang or if the universe is eternal that there is some omnipotent being going, like, pulling all the strings. Because like we didn't know dark matter existed until... We don't even have like proof for dark matter other than the like...
the mass.
The mass. Like the fact that our galaxy holds together is like in our general relativity, like current theories is like, doesn't make sense. So...
Sorry. Yeah, keep going, sorry.
Yeah, but like, you know, I just don't claim to have all the answers. That's what I mean by, I don't know the actual definition of atheism or like atheist. I just like to think I have science-based beliefs, but yeah, so there are things I don't know and I can accept that because, you know, I feel like we can't know everything. Dude, I got to piss like a motherfucker.
You go.
I pissed before.
I'll fix the fan.
Damn.
You pivot the mic, just make sure you don't bump it so that we don't get a loud pop. I got to fix the fan as well, so... I thought it works from over here. Oh, there we go.
We're going to leave the piss break in? That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, no, well, I don't edit these. I don't have any editing software. So they just go. So while Joel's in the toilet, mind his profanity as well. But I'm just joking, Joel, anyway. But no. It's, you just speak how you speak. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's what one... Huh? Unfiltered content, yeah. That's one reason. Speaking on that though, one reason. So I was going to explain what I believe in, sort of how I went down it, stemming from like me and Joel would have believed similar things at a similar time, especially if I met him before I met him. But and now we're like very different. But on the aspect and the topic of profanity, one of the reasons why I love Donda so much, Kanye West's new album, is because he's bleeped out. Yeah, he's bleeped out all the profanity. It's either bleeped out or he just takes it out. So I found lately...
Is that a religious choice or like some sort of musical artist choice?
I think it's a, you know, not to speak on Kanye's behalf, but I think it's, speaking from my experience, it's I think you might need to be a bit closer. Maybe the mic a bit closer, but
working out the kinks, people.
Yeah, working out the kinks. Just watch when you speak, like see how yellow it gets. But yeah, so I think like when I've been singing songs recently, it started off, so this actually will tie in. So I was an atheist my whole life. And this might actually be interesting to the few people who do watch, because like I assume it's people who know me. Is your coffee tasting bad again?
Nah, it's just oat milk. It's all right, and then it gets cold, and then it tastes bad.
Yeah, I much prefer soy milk, but
anyway,
I'm vegan as well. If anybody's watching and they don't know, but not for Christian reasons.
He's a Seventh-day Adventist, people.
No, I'm not anymore. You can't. My friends with Seventh-day Adventists might be watching this.
Yeah, well, I'm nothing against it. I just know that they treat their body as a temple.
I'll send it to you, Diego. If you're watching this, I'll send it to you, and I'll see if you watch this, because I'll see if you notice. But anyway,
socks on.
What was I saying? So yeah, I sort of becoming so moving out of atheism, I had a lot of things happen to me in life, and that kind of kick-started me in the direction which I think probably had to do with some kind of the hand of God. Also, you're not really in frame. We should probably move the camera.
No, man, it's good. I was like this before. I just shifted.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, let me know. We can fix it later.
Work out the kinks.
Yeah. So what was I saying?
Talking about Diego, Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah, so me and Joel would have believed similar things up until a point. Things happened in my life, family, just life happens, you face adversity in life. And then I kind of got put into the position, maybe by God. I think, obviously as a Christian, I believe God had his hand in it, whether to what degree, who knows?
I feel like this is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Good levels?
Yeah, that's good. Good levels. How am I? Am I too quiet?
Turn me up again. I think that's all right. Damn. Yeah, I'm in the blue.
Yeah, so to keep getting off. So to just wrap it up, yeah, things happened to me in life, adversity, and I got to the point essentially where I thought, surely there's more to life than this. And I was already looking into things like Dad was a bit similar. My friend Matt, shout out if he's watching from Cranbourne, Matt Olyrook, not to name and shame, but yeah, we talked about similar things, like kind of conspiracy kind of things, what's going on in the world back when I was, 15, 16. And then, I moved schools, you move houses. It's a big thing in life. And then, yes, other things in life. So I was like, surely there's more to life. And that's when I started looking into like Nikola Tesla, but just like, surely there's more to life,
Do you feel like it took stress off when you found God?
100%. Finding God, the search for God was the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. And I don't just mean like, obviously every Christian is going to say, becoming a Christian was the best thing, the peace you feel.
Yeah, it's kind of the default answer.
But just the search for God for me was the best time I've had in my life. Like,
yeah, but did you find him or did he find you?
Well, that's a good question. I think, yeah, just like...
Banger question.
Yeah, no, it's a very legitimate question too, because
do you feel like when you think about it, you get in kind of like not like a logic loop?
And that's where there's people called Calvinists who believe that you can only go to God if he calls you. But then because there's Bible verses that say that, but then there's also one Bible verse which says anybody who calls on the name of the Lord, which is Jesus, that's the name of the Lord, will be saved. So
it's a bit contradictory.
Yeah, it's contradictory.
I feel like...
Yeah, it's a good topic. Yeah,
go. I feel like in the Bible, or like a thing that like devoted atheists like to pull on a lot is like they love to find contradictions in the Bible, because there are a lot of like literal contradictions. Like, but like believing in God, or like having faith in the Bible, it's like there's a lot more symbolism there instead of just like straight up. It's not straight up just the words that contradict each other. There might be like meaning that explains why there's two things said, and there's like context in the story.
The meaning is what explains the contradiction, or the meaning is what is the contradiction?
No, the meaning is what explains the contradiction, I think.
Yeah, right? Yeah, 100%. So Christians, sorry, bear with me.
There's a bear over there.
I'm just turning that off. Is that all good? Yeah. So Christians, so the meaning explains some of the... so Christians, there's camps like Jordan Peterson, for example, who's becoming more and more Christian.
But I don't think he calls himself a Christian.
No, and that's the thing. He started off with the Bible as a purely moral, philosophical book. It was psychological. He called it like the deepest and most profound book that we have. He gives it so much credit, and even before he got to the stage where he's becoming more and more Christian, he also thought these things. But then you've got... I wouldn't really say these people exist, but there's people who believe the Bible is... It's
a
like
teaching?
Christians... Well, they think it's mainly only literal. And so there's no inherent...
Well, I feel like at one point you did say to me that like you shouldn't try to interpret...
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, but like interpreting and finding meaning is that's what interpretation is. So like...
It's the Bible. There's a certain verse I can't remember.
So do you still believe that you shouldn't interpret?
No, I believe you should interpret, and I looked at a thing that was saying,
grow as people.
Yeah, we grow as people, and I'm becoming a Christian. It's just crazy.
Lots of growing,
lots of growing, lots of reforming, and lots of going out of the oppression of Egypt and into
Growth
the
in
desert.
the right
you know
places,
what I mean?
you know?
Yeah. I forgot.
Contradictions.
ask?
Talking about contradictions of the Bible. Finding meaning to
And then you
explain
said,
it.
would I change? Oh, yeah. So there's certain verses which I can't remember now, but there's people who believe that you should only let the Bible, you should read the Bible and not interpret it. You should only let Scripture. It's called sola scriptura, which is a Latin word, I believe, or a Greek word, which means like, I don't really know what it means, but like paraphrasing, it means like let the Bible explain itself, which is true to a degree. But then the Bible says, there's verses from after Jesus came in the New Testament, which says things like, the Spirit, talking about the Holy Spirit, which Jesus, when he died, he said, I let up the Spirit, that says that Spirit is the Spirit that makes anew, or gives meaning to like the lesson. And I'm paraphrasing here, but gives meaning to the lessons of what the Bible has. It makes the words that God has given us, give us understanding. And that is what means like, and also like the Holy Spirit, ministers to us. So, and that's to say like the Bible isn't just, you can't just read it and you go, okay, that makes
Take it at face value.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and this is where like the Bible talks about, because it's essentially what with the Jews, and I'm not anti-Jewish or anti-Israel. I'm I'm pro-Israel, I guess. That's going to get political very quickly. But,
yeah, we can't go down that street right now.
But like as a Christian, the Christians, the Jews, God made a covenant to them.
Yeah.
So that's my, I guess, forefathers and ancestors in a religious sense. But still do
you believe in the Tower of Babel and shit like that, right?
Yeah. The flood, Adam and Eve being literal people.
The Bible, yes.
Yeah, but then this is the thing. So I used to be not so sure on the 7 days of creation. Also, we'll tie into how.
I don't want to make this just like a Bible conversation, but like it's just matter of fact. It's just an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah,
which especially as a non-believer,
it's good. Sorry, it's good that we are talking about this stuff, because I think the direction society is heading is we're becoming more spiritual and more psychological, philosophical, and theological, because we're realizing that purely physical science doesn't solve some of the core problems that we have.
I feel like at a human level, yes, sometimes,
100%,
like,
but that's what society is. It is
human level, obviously,
humans.
but like,
it's a result of humans.
I feel like, I mean, we'll go into theology and psychology is like, I guess they're the solutions for a societal level, but psychology, so like sociology and shit like that is science. So I feel like
100%.
they are solutions for things like that.
Yeah. And I think, I do love science. I can put it out there. I was very on the fence about science.
He's a science man.
I'm a science man. True science. So, and I think Joel is the same as well. Science where it's like, I looked up the definition, which was on Wikipedia. So I don't know how.
Yeah, straight up ripped it off Google.
It did say, there was like, so this is the scientific method. It said, applying rigorous this is like part of the quote. It was in the full quote, but applying rigorous skepticism because your personal agenda can get in the way. And that's, moving into COVID and what we've had in the last 2 years, it's been a lot of trust the science. I believe Fauci said at one point, I could be wrong, but I believe he said, I am the science. Now, I could be wrong, but even if that, you disregard that, there was a lot of trust the science and trust the experts. Well, you don't trust science, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do understand what you're saying. Like, science is done
and like
through
debate. There
rigorous
was
testing
and debate and
to a degree. Yeah, to a degree. But
specific science.
Like, obviously, I think that's like a population control method. I'm not saying that's bad. Before anyone.
Population control.
I'm not. Well, just hang on. Let me just get through it before you pick me up on every fucking word I say. But like, I just mean like, a lot of people, the mass majority is not going to read a $1,500 page like research paper explaining why these vaccines are effective and they've been rigorously tested.
But these are the same 1,500 pages that Pfizer wants 75 years to release, right?
Is that true?
That's true. That's not a conspiracy. Pfizer really wanted 75 years for there was a freedom of information request. Pfizer said, "Can we have 75 years?" and I believe the court said no.
Okay.
Which,
well,
yeah.
obviously, I'm
yeah.
like,
That's not a conspiracy theory.
I'm more talking broadly about vaccines in general,
Yeah.
not like
historic vaccines, not.
I feel like it's just so there's so much information out there. It's hard to know what's right. But like I do trust that these vaccines are effective.
Mhm.
But like obviously Pfizer doing like not wanting to release them for 75 years like sets off some red flags, right? So
100%.
it's like you can't blindly trust, but if something's like this is how we get facts, like what you said before about like rigorously being suspect and being like critical is like someone comes out with a new theory, and I think I was watching something on YouTube the other day, maybe it was Veritasium or something like that, but like Einstein or one of the big guys came out with like a new theory, and people were like, no, that's bullshit, and we're running all these tests, all these experiments to try and prove it more wrong, more detailed experiments, more like way more money into it, and the thing about a fact is when you rigorously test and be skeptical and go into like trying to prove it wrong, what ends up happening is it keeps getting proved right more and more definitively. So it's like the results come back and they agree with what this scientist was saying, and these new scientists were trying to disprove, mean it becomes more and more of a fact. That's how science works. So it is through rigorous skepticism, and that's why we have peer reviews and stuff. If you want to publish a paper or like have a paper be published, it has to be peer reviewed and done, like the experiment and the research has to be done by other scientists.
Reproduced here.
Yeah.
And the peer review is by people like non-biased people,
like
right?
like it can't be people within the company. It can't be like, has to be all these different companies or like individuals or like, you know, specific people from the like from where it's published, or you know, I'm not, before anyone quotes me on any of this, like this is just from my general knowledge and how I think things go. I might be wrong on a few things, like,
Well, yeah,
like obviously I'm human, everyone's
yeah,
human.
yeah.
We're gonna make it's our first one, not our 522nd
and I
whatever.
think look, it's exactly what you're saying. Like back if we were to make a podcast a year ago and then make this podcast now, and my character development went the same way, there would be so many things I would be like, okay, you know, this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. So, you know, for what the future holds, you know, we're growing.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we should move the camera?
No, I reckon it's fine.
Just a little bit, just so you're in the frame more.
As long as my head's in the frame, I don't care. My arm's doing this weird thing over here.
A little bit.
Okay.
You just keep talking. All right, which way?
You'll figure it out, church boy. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine with me.
Better?
Yeah.
Church boy.
Today I'm
me.
a floating torso and head.
Am I good now? We're both in it.
I think we are.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go.
This is going well. I feel loosey goosey. I feel
This is going
good.
well. Let me check.
I was so nervous. I was thinking. I was like, I've been working full time for the last month and a half, and today all I could think about was tonight. Like, and Brody fucking forgot. I messaged him, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot we were doing that tonight." You know?
Yeah. No, not really.
And he's like, "Oh, I have to go buy a mic stand."
Yeah,
from DJ City.
that mic stand there, you can see it in front of Joel's shirt. That one, yeah. DJ City, Danny Nong. If this podcast gets big,
sponsor time.
yeah, I produce music. But yeah, DJ City, $35 mic. This one here, Dad bought it. Shout out to my dad. Hopefully he'll watch this.
Dan, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Steven.
Yeah, Steven. Hey, if you're watching this, Dad, well, I've got to get you to watch this now because you just got a shout out from Joel. So
love you, Steve.
yeah, I love you too, Dad.
Damn, it's getting hot as fuck in here.
Aircon back on?
Yeah, because I'm drinking this hot coffee, man. It's like,
here, do you want to turn it on? Because you'll reach quicker. Don't bump the mic too here. The fan's on low, I believe. You can turn it up to 2. You'll have to push it a few
no, that's
times
right. As long as it's just humming there.
Yeah. I'm gonna move the mic again because now I'm not in it. I'm gonna move it back. So
dude, people are gonna be listening to like 15 minutes. Like they'll count it all up. It's gonna be 15 minutes of us fucking around. Thinking today, I was like, I wonder if people find me funny. Like I don't know why. I was just like got so like egotistical about it. I'm like, I'm a funny guy.
Well, because you were thinking about the podcast.
Yeah. I was thinking about how like sociable I am, or like how
Well, you're very sociable.
yeah,
That's
in
the thing,
person,
you're
but
very-
on camera, I don't know if it conveys as well.
I think it does. From this here, it's been
Yeah.
really good. And I've only done 2 other things, but like from like again saying so. Okay, back to from what my perspective.
We're tangent boys. We love
Yeah.
to go on our fucking
Yeah.
tangents.
From my perspective of what I my experience with media, and because like you are doing really well, but and again this is from the perspective. So okay, that time I started looking at Nikola Tesla, and then I went through some ups in life. Like I met some cool people, like I met Joel and Casey and all that, and we started playing music, and then sort of fell in love, which was nice. But and then sort of things kind of up and down a bit, and then went kind of downhill, and then
We should get like a stocks chart of
Yeah.
Brody's mental
oh,
capacity.
that'd be so good. Stocks going up,
Whoa.
boys. They're going up now.
Yeah, stocks
They're
are
on
up.
the way up.
Stocks are up.
Stocks are up.
Growth stocks, they only go up.
Yeah.
Apple.
So
Tesla.
why is it? It's on you really a lot now. So
That's why I
Do
said.
you-
That's
do
why I
you-
said to leave it.
yeah. Do you want to explain them while I fix the camera again? Do you
Oh
want
my
to?
God.
I'm gonna fix it for good. I'm gonna get.
This will be the last time. You have to promise
last
to the
time.
camera that this is the last time.
No, I can't make a promise, but I'm gonna try and get it so that way I don't fix it, because it's just got to be like
Literally using my iPhone to film this right now.
yeah. Camo Studio Reincubate. Good service. This you just hook up your phone to your thing. All right. So while I move this, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Anyway, this is another tad bit. I just referred to my phone as my iPhone, and I apologize because I don't know why, it just shits me when people like talk about like their phone in general. They may happen to have an iPhone, but they'll just be like on a podcast or like just talking conversation like, oh, my iPhone, this, that. And I'm like, just call it's a phone. It's a phone. Call it a phone. I don't refer to other shit by brands. It's like, this isn't my Intel Gen X Core fucking 500, Dude, I'm going to start, get me on my pet peeves and I'll start ranting like a crazy person.
How's that? Am I too much now?
It's 10 delicious, man. Just leave it.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna get, it's too much on me now, not enough on Joel. But
People are going to berate you and,
Yeah.
fucking touching the camera all so much.
all right. So we're
Half an hour in.
Half an hour
Dude,
in.
that's gone so quick.
love podcasts. So back to the very first thing about how mine and Joel's views differ. I was an atheist, and I went through the things, life, and sort of searched for more. And then they got to a point where I left school after, I met Joel and, fell in love and fell out of love and, went up and down, but life was still, teenager stuff, a bit different. But, and then, I had a year off, and then thought, okay, well, if I have a year off, I'm going to become God, essentially. So I tried my hardest and lost my mind a bit. But in that period, I was posting a lot of stuff on social media, and my shame kind of disappeared. I was also smoking a lot of weed, which I think, plays into it. But
Not to shame weed. Weed's fine. I
yeah,
like
well, we
weed.
can talk about that later. No, I don't wanna-
Actually, allegedly, I like weed, okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean,
No, you can
used
leave
to,
that.
I used to smoke a lot of weed, so yeah,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but I haven't for a while, so
I was just like thinking, I was like, allegedly, no, you don't have any editing software. So I was like thinking,
yeah,
damn, maybe I shouldn't say that, because I was like, what if this is on like YouTube, right? Well, it will be.
it will be on YouTube.
And
Yeah,
and like I'm 30 years down the track, and all drugs, fucking alcohol, cigarettes have been prohibited.
no.
I'm just thinking.
If we go that way in society, we've gone backwards, majorly gone backwards. But I don't think it'll matter anyway. The past is
Yeah,
the
you know
past.
what? Fuck it. I'll be okay.
Yeah. So
This is a defining moment of my life.
yeah. So I lost all my shame there, and that's why, like I was saying before, like from my experience with
Yeah, that's harsh.
make another one if you want. Oh,
No, it's
it's
okay.
red.
Can't be fucked.
From my experience with social media and stuff, like after that point, I didn't really care what I posted. I posted a lot worse and put myself on the line, and I'm sure I don't really think people really cared at that point. Like I made everyone unfollow me, so people like didn't really see what I
Yeah, I
posted
mean,
anyway.
What you're posting now, I think a lot of people would get pissed off.
Maybe I think a lot of people see it now and know me and just kind of go,
Mm.
oh, yeah,
Well, if
that's Brody.
if
They
people
just
if
skip through it,
people
you know
want to
what I mean?
like block you
There
or
is
like
certain people from Druin who have blocked me.
yeah,
But
but like if they want to do that, there's no point having them in your life.
well, that's right. And
And if you
yeah.
and if you can't see like an opposing viewpoint and just like tolerate it or at least like think about it. It's like, you know, you can't just be in an echo chamber of your own opinion.
That's how things get really, really
That's
bad
why
in
Facebook
society.
scares me.
Yeah.
Because I see cunts on like Sky News or like, and this is an example because this is the only example I've like seen. It's like a lot of like, man, okay, in like year 10, I fell down like a right wing rabbit hole.
Yeah, I went down.
Like, I feel like a lot of kids, like a lot of kids, like a lot of people. Yeah, red pill, fucking like meme, fucking Pepe the Frog, Donald
mine
Trump
was a bit
kind of
different,
shit.
but
I fell down like really right wing, like Milo Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro, and
I still like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, I think he's a cunt. Anyway,
Wow, that's a bit harsh, but
I don't think it is.
yeah.
Anyway, ignoring that.
Yeah.
I like Jordan Peterson.
You could just say you don't like him, is what I mean. But
I mean,
anyway, I don't want to censor Joel.
Yeah,
This is free speech.
free speech. Anyway, yeah. So I don't like Ben Shapiro, but like I did at the time. Like I fell down this like Ben Shapiro, and I'd get like SJW own compilations and shit like that. And
I
I'm like,
watch them.
and then I just like kind of like came to my senses and realized like, look, this isn't healthy, and I don't actually agree with these viewpoints. Like, and like,
Well,
it was all around 2016. It was around when Donald Trump came in.
Yeah. And I think there could be an aspect of whether it's culture, society, people who haven't had a voice because of the media, or it could also be getting into the area of psychological operations and
literally could have been
psyops
Russian
and
bots
propaganda. I don't think it would be Russian bots.
Just joking.
That's a thing we could talk about. But to go back, so I then, decided, like I was searching. I became to the point where I was searching for truth, searching for a way out of life, and then it became a search for God. Then I searched for God, lots of different gods, lots of different religions. Eventually settled, not really on my own choice, but because of every other thing that I went to either made me go insane again, like when I'd come out of being insane, which, or it would, just not really make me progress in anything. But Christianity was the one thing that lasted, and God, and the search for especially the biblical God, was the one thing that I stuck by. And it's, since then it's just benefit after benefit after benefit of my life. So that's how I became a Christian. Long story short, maybe one day I'll have a testimony. And yeah, do you want to give background of essentially what you believe? Or
yeah, dude, that was like a half an hour.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I have to pee.
Yeah, I mean, go do it.
Yeah. You can still explain it.
Yeah,
or you can
unfiltered
wait.
podcast. I mean, I don't really mind. I don't need people watching me sit here.
You mean me? They'll be watching you still.
Anyway, what Brody was saying was like to give my background. I guess I don't really have a background. I'm 21, What background would I have? I went to high school and I liked school. That's it. Now I'm studying to be an engineer. So I'm really science-based, I guess. Damn. Realize all my insecurities come crashing down as soon as someone else isn't there. Just such a social person, I guess. They recharge my batteries. Then I get to go home and crash. The whole time that if this podcast keep going and we do more episodes, I'm just going to throw in like inside jokes and shit like that. Just things that people who know me will get. Just thinking about that right now. Maybe I'll throw one in today. See if you catch it. You'll know. I keep looking at the laptop, but I'm trying to look at the camera. You'll know. You'll hear it. And you'll appreciate it.
That got through on the mics.
What, you piss? Nah, man, I don't know.
What did you say?
I just gave a brief explanation.
Yeah. So I guess, and I actually, right, let me get in front of the mic first, so you can hear me. But
What's the time?
how
long have we gone?
You want to go an hour and a half?
Yeah, I want to go an hour and a half. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, an hour and a half would be 11:30.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. Oh, okay, I'm happy too. You still want rice afterwards?
Oh, yes, I'm going to
Yes,
demolish some fucking
sweet.
rice.
I make rice. I've got a good recipe. Hopefully, I'll get a video out actually.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to give my opinion. But I did dip a roll in it before, and the juices were good. So
Yeah, it's probably one of
flavors are there.
One pot, it probably costs
Dude,
easily under $5.
I love one pot cooking.
Yeah, rice cooker. You use 1 cup a quarter cup, although you could probably only use a quarter cup and a teaspoon.
But you need hearty
That's
rice because it can't just like I love sushi rice, but if I try to do it like a stew with it
yeah.
just fucking obliterate.
Like, what do you mean?
Like if I try to like cook a big stew with like
If you were
sushi
to
rice in my like rice cooker, like what you've done.
Yeah. You could use white rice, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, white rice would be nice.
What's sushi rice? Sushi rice falls apart, or?
Sushi rice is just really soft, and I just like how sticky it is. And like when I'm eating with chopsticks, you can get big.
Yeah, I
clumps to
use
stick
sushi
together.
rice. I made.
Dude, we gotta stop talking
Sushi
about it
once.
because I'll make myself hate. Anyway.
Okay, so I did want to ask you. What were you gonna say?
Nope, just go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. Okay, so I thought about this. You know, obviously you give a backstory, and I don't think you probably have thought about it too much while you're Christian, atheist. Hopefully you'll become a Christian soon. But
damn, of course Brody would say that.
anyway, so I thought about it, and I thought, well, of course, you know, most people in life, you know, they grow up and they just, you know, you grow up and you don't really, you believe what you believe, I guess, but then you get to a point where you sort of go down a decision. And I was actually thinking about Christians who grow up, or people who grow up in Christian families and there's people who grow up and they hate the Christianity that they've been brought up in. But I mean, people who,
I think that just happens with a lot of people of faith.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't
but
happen.
I think that is a minority. I think most people, and this is the sort of thing I was getting at, which is the question, sorry to interrupt, but the question I wanted to move into with it was, people grow up in Christian homes and then they might like the Bible, think most of the Bible is true. They might think the Bible is a very, very good and important book. They might think that God exists. They might think that Jesus exists, and you know, they don't debate any of that. But at the same time, like personally, them in their heart, in their mind, you know, in their soul, in their spirit, whatever, however you think of it, they just aren't there. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, there's people grow up in Christian homes and then eventually they get to a certain age and then something hits them, or they start their search for God. They start their search for, well, does God really exist? Certain people go left, certain people go right. I did the wrong.
That's not political.
direction.
That's just a metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. That's a metaphor. Although, well, yeah. Anyway, so my question to you is, you know, with that happening, and those people tend to go, okay, well, I think there's something more to life. I think there is a God or a higher power, but I don't necessarily know the Christian God or believe in the Christian God or know Jesus or think, you know, what my church thinks or what my parents think. But you went in the direction where you became an atheist.
Well,
so
yeah,
that's what I want to. Yeah.
Well, I think
that happen?
I think more often than not, I think if we had to weigh up, like, obviously we don't have the statistics here. We need like a Joe Rogan, Jamie kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, I think
Casey, can you set it up?
Yeah, I think more often than not, I think it's like the children of religious parents go to like atheism or being a non-believer more often than the children of non-religious parents go to faith, I think. What do you think of that? Or like, what are your opinions on that? I feel like you're the only case I know of like
it's not particularly common.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's more common that
I think
children of a faithful household like become unfaithful to like whatever non-denominational God they believe in.
Nowadays, especially in the last, let's say, 20 plus years, maybe 40.
It's hard to judge because we're only 20 years old.
Yeah, since about
fathom it.
Since about 1960, 1970, in the times of the civil rights movement, the sort of around the Vietnam War, the peace, love, hippie movement. What would you call that? Like these sort of like, what would you call it? Not so much the civil rights, but around that time and around that kind of the hippie, you know, free love, anti-establishment, all these things. When that happened, it has been.
I feel like that was a minority, though.
It has been, but I think the direction it's headed has been very, very influential in society. The way it's headed, and I think, what you're saying, I think that's true. I don't think it's true for the future or for the majority of the past, but I think for the time we're living in now, the few generations,
just like it's just me and Brody, or like my viewpoint,
Yeah.
like my
I think
personal experience.
I think there's some truth to it in the
Yeah.
times we're living in now, or in the time, and not to
Yeah.
say the times we're living in now as in the world's about to end, but just the time we're living in now as,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
that kind of. I think there is some truth to that.
I think so.
But I think there
just
is a
because
great
I have
revival
like
coming.
examples in my own life,
Yeah, yeah,
and like the examples of the other one outweigh the one example I have, which is you.
yeah. I think there is a great revival coming. There's Jordan Peterson specifically, so that's
Do you
only
feel like there's going to be a change because he's actually
Yes.
coming on this Saturday?
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Oh, to Melbourne.
Yeah, Mickey asked. Oh, sorry to shout you out, Mickey, but like Mickey
Well,
asked. Mickey
yeah.
asked if like I wanted to buy tickets and go, but like I got shit on.
Oh yeah. Oh damn. I probably would have gone.
I don't know if
too,
you'd get into the
I don't
venue
think
though
I
because you're
could be
unvaccinated.
Unvaccinated. So.
That's a conversation for
Yeah.
maybe later on.
But yeah, Jordan Peterson said China is quickly becoming one of the most Christian nations. That's the only research I've done to it. Is him
He said
saying
that. We're just going to
So-
take it as law.
But I think it could be, you know, the oh, this is interesting to talk about Russia and China.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know if I'll be
America
able
as
to
well.
talk about this
We
much.
don't actually have to talk about Russia and Ukraine, but just Russia, China,
general, okay.
America, or the West. But yeah, China becoming democratic, moving away from communism, although they still are the CCP.
They're capitalists, but they're also very communist.
They are, yes, which is, I think it takes.
Actually, let me take that
few
back. It's like
generations.
capitalist ideologies, but like in a communist way. It's
Well,
like their
Russia,
own way.
I've actually thought about this today. Russia
Is Russia still communist?
Russia is, I believe,
Really? Okay.
No
also,
longer
just
communist.
a PSA.
yeah, this
Don't-
is
Don't
opinions.
take any of this like too seriously because it's like we're just spitballing here and we have like limited or like we have like some information on other things, but like take everything with a grain of salt is all I'm saying, basically.
We're very, I think me and Joel, the way we think it's, we're very aware that we don't have all the answers, and
Yeah.
we're very aware that we have a lot to learn.
I feel like that's a good way to
which
be.
is why
as
we
well.
talk. We can have these conversations we have because we're very, like, I think we're both willing to listen and even learn from each other, which
Yeah.
maybe at the start was a bit more.
But
of
like
like
our fundamentals
debate,
are cement, I feel. Like
yeah,
I'm not going to suddenly like convince you in one of these like episodes saying like there'll be more, who knows.
yeah.
But like I don't think I'm going to suddenly convince you in one of these episodes that
Hopefully there'll be more.
just not, to stop being Christian or like
Yeah,
lose your faith and something will click in your head.
Yeah.
And I definitely like I obviously don't think the other way where you'll be talking to me. I'm like,
Well,
where is God?
that you can't see it because it's not. Maybe at the end of the video I'll get it up and show the photo. But I've got one I gave to Joel. It's a Bible verse.
It is in my room. It
Yeah,
is.
iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And that's, I think, a good verse for what we do because there's, like, specifically, like, and I'm just going to assume you think a similar way about me, but you can touch on that later. But with Joel, with you, when you're, like, from a background of atheism, you know, very literate in science and the science literature coming out and the sort of the widespread science literature. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you're a good person for me to talk to because I can learn a lot and I can get a lot from you because of the specific ways you think about things and the things you think about. And I wouldn't, like you, how you're saying, you know, our fundamentals won't really change, but I don't think, like you were saying, you're not going to try and make me not a Christian. I'm not going to try and make you not an atheist because, well, to a degree, I guess, because I would like for you to be able to experience, but again, I'm not going to like force it down your throat and push it. So, but I think there's a lot of things that I gain from talking to you from your perspective and from what you are interested in. And I think, you know, assuming, but you are would be similar with me. Like there's a lot of
you know.
the way I think, the things I've experienced, the
And
way
I feel
am.
like I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I feel
Neither
like
am I.
I feel like there's a few. Like I feel like if people just geez, this sounds so arrogant, but I feel like
Just say it, you know,
I feel like if people like
you just try and say it nicely, and then
Yeah,
you don't have to
if
be
people
worried
try-
about.
I guess if more like people in power or like try to be more this is such a hot take, but like accepting of one another and try to find some common ground, but it's also like
I think there's a lot of
it's
economic.
dog eat dog, you know.
There's a lot of economic incentive, and politics at the moment is, for lack of a better word, a shit show. It's there's a lot like in America, and I focus a lot on America. I love
He's an
America.
American boy.
Like for the West and the establishment. What we're saying, the establishment or the establishment of democracy worldwide being founded essentially in America, but birthed in ancient Greece.
Yep.
Right, that's what you wanted to
Birthplace
say
in
about
ancient Greece.
birthplace in
We were
ancient
talking
Greece.
about
So
this before the podcast.
yes, but saying that, so I'm not anti-America. I hate communism, and
Hate's a strong word.
I hate communism.
Hate
I mean,
it, yeah.
and as a Christian, in all the context of because the Bible says to hate what is evil and love what is good, and not to hate your, if
Yeah.
anybody who hates
But
their brother is
I
worthy
couldn't
of.
call Ben Shapiro a CUNT before.
Well, that's what. Well, you could hate what Ben Shapiro says or what he believes, like as a Christian, I'm speaking. But to hate a person, the Bible says anybody who
love thy
hates their
neighbor.
brother, love your enemies. Essentially, the Bible says.
Okay.
So, like me, to love Xi Jinping, where I wish he would become more democratic, become a Christian. Even for me as a Christian to say like I hate Hitler would be going against what God tells me to do. Now I can hate National Socialism. I can hate the Nazi regime. I can hate everything Hitler did and everything around Hitler. All the Joseph Mengele, or everybody in the Nazi regime who was pro National Socialism. I hate everything they did and they supported and they believed. But them as people, to love them to the point where I wish they could essentially repent, turn away from what they believed and turn to something good towards God, towards the Bible, towards Christianity, and ask God for forgiveness. That essentially, I think, is what it means to love your enemies, to not wish them just to die, because I think there's a thing that happens if you just hate your enemies, you just kind of ping pong back and forth, and it's just an everlasting war.
Yeah, I feel like there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going.
Well, at least it's very truthful. I feel like we got on a tangent that we can't come back from.
Yeah. So to say that, I hate communism, I hate Marxism, I hate socialism. It's in the same way that I hate people who murder in cold blood, not kill, in self-defense or things in times of war where it's a bit of a gray area, but people who rape. No. So I don't hate those people. I hate what they do. I hate rape. I hate murder. These things, I hate them.
I know this might sound like very basic things to hate or like to dislike, but like, I think Brody's just trying to prove a point about how he thinks about it.
Yeah.
Rather than just outright, like, it's not a public service announcement that he hates these things.
Yeah. So, and on that note, like, I'm with America. I love America. I love what they've done for the world. But at the same time with America, with their, like, I'm essentially a right-wing conservative, but I've moved out of left and right wing because I'm at heart fundamentally a Christian. But the whole, like, somebody gets elected for 4 years, the next person gets elected for 4 years. And I watched an interesting video on this in American politics, how it might have been on Joe Rogan. It was a CIA guy who some people in the comments were saying was a bit sus, but he was saying how what happens is one party, the Democrats, will start a war, and then the Republicans come in and then benefit from that war as well. And there's people or vice versa. And there's people in power who have been in the American government for 50, 60, even 70 years, who have massive investments in military stocks, who come from working in well, not military stocks, but weaponry, armory, guns, Boeing,
private weapon manufacturers and stuff.
They have
like that.
huge investments in those stocks. They've come from working with
like
those
Lockheed
companies.
Martin and shit like that.
Boeing. They've come from working in these companies or being on their staff. They've come from in the military, and they benefit.
Yeah, there's a clash of
from these
agendas.
wars.
There's a clash of agendas.
So, and I don't think that's a representative of what America should be.
Do you like AOC?
But saying that, I don't really.
She has some
know
good
anything
points
about
though.
her.
Like she is outright against all members of Congress or the Senate or like their relatives being able to buy and trade stocks.
Oh, military stocks or like
any
pharmaceuticals.
stocks.
Yeah,
like because they have an advantage. They find things out first.
Or so people in government.
Yeah, Congress and government. Yeah,
can't buy any stocks. They can't. See, I think
while they're in government.
Yeah, I think that's a grey area, and this is where I'd say I probably don't like some of the things that she.
Like, think about Nancy. Is it Pelosi?
Yep.
Yeah, her husband trades stocks, and they've made fucking millions while she's been in Congress.
There's a sort of a meme going around that people who earn $150,000 a year through COVID have made, like, now are worth, or make $150,000 a year are now worth 50 million or 100 million because through COVID they've insider trading, Pfizer stocks and all these stocks went up like hundreds of percents. Like, I'm talking like triple, quadruple, like ridiculous amounts. And But do you want to talk about AOC? That was a train. We don't really have to talk about
We don't
it.
have to, because I don't really know that much about her other than she is a member of.
Yeah.
She's a
I
politician
think
in
there's
America.
a lot of the racial issues that she goes into. I think is one of the things that I'm not.
Maybe I should do some
keen
more
on.
research before next
I haven't done
podcast.
really any research on
No,
her.
no,
either,
because
but
I just wanted to
yeah.
come into this fresh-legged and
yeah.
sweet-faced. But
Well, I don't have a job, so most of my life is making music, trying to stay sane, and being like sort of half-heartedly involved in worldly politics. Well, not worldly politics, but what's going on in the world and trying to stay
yeah, just knowing what's going on.
educated and learn. So
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I think maybe not a lot of people. I have like, there's some people who just like obviously don't follow what's going on in politics, or like find it boring, or just like, you know. But I feel like it's important to know what's
It's
going on in
very
the world
important,
around
yeah.
you.
it's well. This is a good topic. I was thinking of this before, and I thought of this earlier when we were going to say this. Would you be able to turn the aircon off?
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that all right? You're not too hot?
a little hot, but I'll turn it back.
You can turn the fan down.
It's on the lowest setting,
Oh.
man.
That's all right. I was thinking a lot of people say there's kind of this view in the world where 10:47. People kind of like people get involved in politics, ideologies, even I guess political philosophy and psychology to a degree. Sociology would be a big thing. And then some people might say to them, people who feel strongly about these kind of things, politics, they might say, what did you do to the aircon?
Turn it off, man.
Oh, it's still on.
Damn, people listen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sorry.
they might get involved in, people might feel very strongly about politics, talk to their relatives, talk to their friends about it, and people say,
Dude, I think in Australia there's a big no in like traditional households against talking politics. I don't know anyone who talks politics with their parents.
yeah,
Well, unless they agree with them.
yeah, well, that's the point.
Like, I'd never bring up politics around my grandparents, because I have no idea what their politics are, and I don't want to like give them, like, I
Yeah.
don't want to hassle them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of people, which I think it's becoming better, but then again, I could be wrong. I gotta go back to this. Let me just go back to because I'm gonna forget where I was going.
I feel like we do that a lot.
There's people, yeah. There's people who feel very strongly about politics, and people might say to them, you need to step into the real world. You need to, this isn't, what you're focusing on isn't the real world. You're
too far away.
You're too far away. But then exactly saying that, Karl Marx, essentially the father of socialism, which is the precursor to communism, would have been one of those people who was political and just talked about these things just as political, and birthed the whole movement that has been one of the reasons that communism and socialism have, Nazism, National Socialism. I'm not sure if Marx was alive before them or after them, but socialism, communism have destroyed nations, oppressed millions and millions of people, and killed millions of people as well. So these people who say, you need to get into the real world, you need to forget about politics and ideologies because you're too far gone, you're not living in the real world. You can't say these things because people, the birthplace of what happens in the world is from politics and ideologies, and not politics as in the Democrat Party or the Republican Party or the ALP, Australian Labor Party, or the
I think the ALP is the Liberal Party.
Australian Liberal Party, or the Labor Party in Australia, or the Greens. That's not politics I'm talking about. I'm talking about individual, like Hitler. Hitler started on the street corners of Nazi Germany, or of Germany before it was Nazi Germany, protesting and essentially protesting to a degree, but just speaking his mind and speaking his voice, and for somebody to say, if somebody in Germany at the moment was going, okay, we need to be careful of, and we need to address this, we need to talk about this and make sure this doesn't go any further, and not get rid of free speech, but address this publicly and debate it, and then somebody goes to them, oh, you need to get in the real world. There's wars going on right now. There's wars that in certain places in the world, that's the real world. Where did the wars start? They start from ideologies. They start from personal politics. They start from people's views and opinions. And when you say to somebody, you're not in the real world when you talk about politics and these things, because, you know, something like in the real world is wars that our grandfathers have fought, and these things, those wars start from the people who, from people's personal political beliefs. So that is more real, or just as real as the wars that people fight. You know, essentially, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just like, you know, I was letting you talk. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
also, like, I don't feel like I have the equipment to address communism or like a lot of the big political ideologies right now. But like, I can hear you. I don't know if I agree with you fully. I definitely don't think I agree with you fully on a few things. But like, right now, I don't have the equipment to talk about it.
Specifically on the subject of like, do you get what I'm saying on when people say you need to focus on what's real in life rather than getting
I don't know.
so
I've never had
involved in
anyone's
politics?
like. I don't.
It's people don't generally. I've never really had anybody say that to me.
Yeah,
either,
I know, but like
people kind of they a lot of people just kind of act that out in the way they, you know, go, okay.
Yeah,
just,
I guess how they go about the world.
You need to just stop about these things and just, you know, obviously people need to work. It's a commandment to work in the Bible, and you need to work. You know, if you don't work, you essentially fade away and waste away. And I'm not talking about have a job. I'm talking about doing
Have
dishes,
stuff to do. Yeah.
have stuff to do, work on projects, clean your, you know, not to be Jordan Peterson Stan, but to clean your room, like do the dishes, help out with family, you know, just work, because to not work is to die, essentially. So yeah, that's essentially people like kind of
I feel like
yeah.
it's like people are going about their day-to-day lives and they're not focusing on shit that's happening. Like just in the bigger picture. But like, you know, I can't blame them for that. I definitely fall into that sometimes too, because it's just easy. It's easy to do. But like this Ukraine Russia situation, like I haven't read about it because I just like I've been working. So I completely understand how shit like that happens. But yeah.
I know,
anyway,
very
I'd like
minimal.
to maybe shift into like a different like different
do that.
topic, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like,
You gotta get this closer.
you know,
Yep. What would you want
I don't know. Maybe like vaccines.
Vaccines, yeah. Well, so just before we go into vaccines, so that's kind of a background. Oh, now I'm in the red.
He's in the red, people.
So
He's
that's
in the wrong.
I'm back in the red again.
Get out of the red. Get out of the red.
So that's kind of a background into. Oh, that's much better. So that's just a background essentially into.
Yeah, it was a very
what I believe.
very fucking omnidirectional fucking way to get into it. But like, we've been speaking for maybe an hour now.
It's an hour and 2 minutes.
An hour and 2 minutes. So like, I guess it should obviously.
If you're still here, thank you.
Yeah, it should
I'm sure
get
there's
it.
gonna be a few people. There's usually my videos have gotten both my like podcasty type videos have gotten 10 videos each, and I don't know if that's people watching all the way or if it's like
You mean 10
1 minute.
views?
10 views, yeah, 10 views. So, you know,
10
hopefully
people.
at least one person watches this to the way through, and if you are, thank you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We
Hopefully-
appreciate you watching.
It'd be so cool. Like, can you imagine if like, I
if
don't
this
know.
got big.
Yeah, it's just like I know
Yeah.
that's like so fantastical, or like just like thinking like so crazy, but you're like got a studio, got some crazy equipment.
It's the dream.
Yeah, the dream. I'm dreaming. That's exactly.
Well, that's actually, you know, the Bible. Well, actually, I'm going back to the Bible.
Yeah, but
Go to
like,
vaccines.
okay, we can't blame him because
Yeah.
obviously.
Well, I don't just talk about the Bible the whole time. Like,
I know, but it does come into a lot of aspects of
Yeah,
your life, if not all of
100%.
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the Bible talks about dreamers, you know, as people. There's one verse that talks about dreamers as people who, you know, essentially. I don't know the full context of it, but it's not the most positive light that it's mentioning people as dreamers. It's more mentioning them as like, I guess, you know, people who just, you know, just dreamers. They just
They're just
don't-
out of
I guess. Yeah, out of it. I think that's the context of what it means. I don't necessarily think it's people who have aspirations and goals and work towards things. I think I think that's probably the context of what it means. The guy, I was at a Christian camp. I got baptized on the weekend. The weekend had just passed. I was at a Christian camp. The guy, because they live there, the people who own it, the guy who lived there, he said to me, I was talking to him about things about life, how he lived in New Zealand and then he moved to Australia, and because he became Christian and his wife became Christian, and through some miraculous her healing, like she was in the hospital about to die and then she recovered like pretty much miraculously, and then, you know, he became a Christian and she became a Christian, and then they moved to Australia. Can you turn the aircon back on, please? So yeah, they moved to Australia, and he said, there was certain things, and he prayed and essentially said, be careful what you pray for, because he prayed and said to God, I want you to use me, tell me where to go. And then he had to move to a bunch of places, but it was just a joke, a Christian joke. But he said to me, because I talked about music and what I do, and I have to kind of, depending on who I talk to, and how I'm not vaccinated, I don't have a job at the moment, and I'm focusing on music as sort of the thing I work towards. And I have to but he said to me when I kind of moved into that, which people they interpret what I'm saying as they will, because I just kind of let it flow the way it does, kind of like these conversations. He said to me, don't give up on your dreams. Don't, he said, don't disregard your dreams, he said to me. And this is, I haven't really heard that from Christians before, and he said that to me. And this was a guy who owns a beautiful camp up in the mountains, Kings Creek, near Mount Buller. Beautiful camp. Got a creek running through it. That's why I got baptized. Beautiful. I'll show you a photo after. But he was the one who said to me, don't disregard your dreams.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, because I think dreamers is more the word of daydreamers. Yeah. People who are just out of it. They're not really paying attention to what happens in the real
reality.
World. Yeah, not in touch with reality. I think that's
that's people who need to be.
Yeah, I know. We're changing opinions, but
but there's a lot of context.
It's context. Context. But yeah, I think it's definitely good to have dreams and aspirations. Like if you think about, I don't know. I mean, people who have reached. When I think of people who have reached their dreams and aspirations, I often think of famous people.
Like Kanye West is somebody I'd think of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As an example, but people who have come from nothing, worked very hard, and achieved these crazy dreams. But the majority of people aren't built like that, and obviously, I think I'm built like that. I don't think
you want to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be great. Of course, I think everyone should want to be great, but I feel like I have realistic goals. Yeah, I don't have dreams. I think
that's what being great is. I think to be great, you have to grapple, because you fall time and time again, and you have to realize, okay, there's steps, but also there's things that I don't understand. Life moves in directions. There's when you want to be great, like the Bible says, and you agreed with me on this before too, but obviously you can, say how you feel now, but the Bible says to be great, you must be the least. The greatest among you will be the least among you. To be great, you have to serve others.
Yeah, and I think that is true, but I'm not saying saying to be great is to be famous.
That's right.
I think great in your own right, in what you think is great. So yeah.
Podcasters to serve the mind of other people, to serve their body is
very self-gratuitous, don't you reckon?
What? To serve the mind of people?
Yeah.
It can be, but saying that, there's a lot of, mental health is, the Bible says to guard your minds. There's a lot of what goes into our minds, and this is a lot of people talk about, it's something we can discuss, but a lot of people talk about the, I'm cold now.
Dude, you're ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, I just cold. We can probably just leave it on. Is it on the lowest fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be okay. Wait, I think you can go lower. Anyway, we can just leave it. You can play around with it if you want. We just leave it if you want. We can try it. You have to point it at it for it to work.
Yeah, okay.
Does it go lower?
You just keep going, man.
Yeah. You can check if it goes lower before you point at it. If it doesn't, just cycle back to the lowest one. Here, pass it to me.
Fuck it. It's fine. Right, it's fine.
I think I'm warm because I have to pee again.
Dude, me too.
What were we talking
about? I drank so much.
Do you want to go first? I'll talk.
No, it's okay. I think...
to be great. To serve others. To serve their minds. Yeah, I think...
I mean, I don't think it's to serve. I think it's more just I'm pulling hairs here, but I think to spark an idea, to spark the idea of conversation, and to think about these things. Yeah,
and to guide them. Guide. The Bible talks a lot about the lost sheep. As in people.
See, I don't think I'm not complete. I'm not anti-Bible. I'm just not Christian. Yeah. I get that the Bible is trying to teach a lot of life
moral lessons,
and I feel like I do agree with a lot the Bible says, but I obviously disagree with a lot of the other things it says.
Of course, yeah.
But I think I agree more, or I tend to agree more on the lessons they're trying to teach, not the rules they're trying to set. I feel like that's a great way for how I feel.
Yeah.
I understand the lessons they're trying to teach, and then I understand.
Don't talk quieter, by the way.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I didn't change, but not the rules they're trying to set, but the lessons they're trying to teach. I like I think that's what I believe. And like, I feel like in a lot of ancient texts or big texts like that, I feel like that seems to be the common theme. It's like the teaching of lessons, or
Could
like,
you?
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like say like, what
I was
are
gonna say what text, but this
like
is something that we could
I
go
like
down.
say probably the Quran or like
Yep.
like
Do
obviously the
you
First Testament.
know?
Do
Like,
I know many things about the Quran? No, but I
yeah,
do feel like
yeah.
there are lessons to be taught, and I feel like does like Buddhist teachings have like a
I
book
went
or
vegan
like
because of yeah. No, the Bhagavad Gita. That's Hindu. There is teachings of the life of
but I feel like
Sautama
I'm
Gautama,
like
what
throwing a
his name is.
dart at an invisible dartboard here, but like I don't know, but I
Yeah.
suspect that's the common theme among
Well,
these
It's
texts.
very common. It's very.
I
And this is
feel
what I
like
think, yeah.
because like I feel like that's a common theme among stories is the same thing. Like
To a
fairy
degree.
tales and stories, they have a lesson or a moral, like
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
obviously. But yeah,
There's one thing about the Bible which
dude, this has been Bible chat for ages.
yeah. Well, that's what tends to be what happens when you talk.
It does, but like yeah, it's okay.
Um,
I gotta piss.
yeah. So, I'll say this to then anybody who's watching. The Bible is one book that I think I've told you this before. So it's about the Jews, how the Bible is like one religious book that doesn't put them in a good light. That's just the context of what I'm about to talk about. So the Bible, there's many religious books and religious texts that sort of like Buddhism, the Quran, Hinduism, but doesn't really talk about. I don't know if the Bhagavad Gita or whatnot talks about the Indian people, but you know the Quran talks about the great prophet Muhammad and the great prophets and you know those people and Buddhism talks about how great Buddha was and how you know he was stepped out of the wheels of karma and did these things. What other religious texts do we have? We have see, I don't know many more, which is, I guess, show my bias. What's other religious texts? Other religious texts other than the Quran and the Buddhism? Science. Yep.
I
So,
don't feel like science is trying to teach a lesson, though. I think it's just trying to find the
well,
truth.
science, it's a similar thing. Like science, well, I guess, you know,
Scientism.
the great scientists are all these great people who have done many amazing things and they're just very great people. So but that's not really a religion. But, so I listed the Quran and Buddhism.
Yeah.
Which, but again, I don't know many more. But for Jews, the Old Testament or the scriptures and the prophets, as they would call it, the Torah and the Tanakh, as it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think I struggle with pronunciations of those words, but
Yeah. So that their own books talk about the Jews as doing some horrific and horrible things. The chosen people of
yeah,
God
damn.
falling time and time again, falling short of the glory time and time and time again. And the Christians, one of the greatest apostles, Paul, who was the greatest apostle, literally was killing Christians
Yeah.
before he became an apostle.
Okay, I do think this is turning into like like not necessarily saying this is
Well,
a bad thing
that's
to any
just-
Christians
yeah,
watching. I
yeah.
just feel like Brody. I mean, you do tend to like start going into a lot of like Bible shit.
It's my
so-
life. It's my
I
whole
know, I
perspective.
know,
But
and I know
that's
you
just,
can't help it.
That's just to say how oh, you were saying how
Well, I'm just trying to keep this like
yeah.
balance.
Well,
I
we can talk
guess.
about vaccines as well too.
Yeah,
because
or
you said
like
that before.
anything
But
else.
religion,
Literally.
you are just saying how like there's a lot of religious books and a lot of things that point towards the same stories. And
Not
all
the
this-
same stories, but like just teaching
their stories kind of
lessons.
teach a similar thing.
Yeah.
But the difference with the biblio Christian or the Jews and the Christians is that their books are different in the aspect that they talk about the people of their religion as being pretty much horrible people. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, that's just I thought I'd point it out. How
I will take your opinion
once
with a grain
you
of
get
salt.
once you
obviously.
get into the deeper bits of religion, that's one thing that differs from a lot of other things.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like.
That's all right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
like. I also just don't want to like alienate anyone.
That's all right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay balanced. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want to like say if there was someone Jewish watching this in the future. I just don't
Yeah,
want to like
yeah,
straight up alienate like their text or anything. I just want to.
Oh yeah.
talk about-
Wait, me or you?
No, I like both of us. Like
Yeah.
obviously like
No,
Like-
but that's what I was saying. Like, it's not just the Jews or the Old Testament that says that. It's the New Testament that also says that.
Yeah,
about,
exactly. Okay,
you know,
so you're a bit.
it's
It's
not.
good
It's
that you're balanced.
the whole Bible as
Yeah.
a whole talks about people being pretty bad and not very good.
Mm.
So,
Well, I also feel like the reason we have these conversations or like get deep into this type of shit is because I always feel like it's good to try and find the answers, especially that like obviously like I don't want to get too existential, but I feel like it's good to get existential and ask yourself these really deep questions and like what you feel like deep down, like I was like so probably in like year 11 or something like that. I was really into determinism and stuff like that, like thinking that the universe is like set out like a game of chess that was like all the moves are already made and we're just like following them.
it's very similar to what Christians believe. But
Yeah, I know, and I guess that's kind of funny or ironic.
yes.
But like the idea that, you know, if you once you break it down, all the physics and stuff like that, we have like atoms and particles and their interactions, and they all follow a set of rules. So it's kind of natural to think that like if the Big Bang started from this one point and released all the matter into
Makes sense.
the universe, or the universe created, and all these parts interact with each other with a set rule set.
Yeah.
Like these
It's
are all
deterministic.
it's deterministic.
You had a
It's
big enough computer.
it's deterministic in nature. Like you could like know like if you had like something like I think there's like some thought experiment like Laplace's demon or something like that knows everything that's going to happen because it can figure out the like energy and motion and all this of particles. But I don't know if I still kind of follow the idea that it is deterministic, but like the idea of quantum theory, and I can be so wrong here, I might be so wrong, but like the idea about like whether or not like an atom decays like radioactively is like not set, or like this is how the idea of like multiverses comes from, is like whether or not it does like the fucking the cat in the box, right?
Schrodinger's cat, yeah.
Schrodinger's cat, yeah. So that is like whether or not the poison is released into the box is determined on whether or not this radioactive thing decays and sets off a Geiger counter and then kills the cat.
So that's it's the antitype to the double slit experiment.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if that is true, that radioactive particle has to do a set of two things, one or two, right? And like to me, in my reality, that particle's going to do one thing one way, and that goes for all radioactive particles. And then that automatically just says in my head, well, if that does happen, it's set a certain way. I have no control over whether the fucking particle decays or not. So how does that affect my, like, how does that, like, we can't control it. So therefore it is deterministic, and it just plays back into it. But because I don't know enough about these type of things, it's like, maybe I don't have the full picture. And I wish, and like listening to podcasts with Brian Cox and like other really smart like quantum physicists or astrophysicists who can better explain this, I like get more of a picture. But I still think I fall into the category of it is deterministic, and like I was meant to be here today at this exact time and everything's just falling into place. But like obviously thinking about that like gets into the aspect of why even bother. But like, you know, or like what's the meaning of like, I mean, I don't necessarily need to find meaning, because I think the fact that we are alive and the fact that our universe is so beautiful and so wondrous is enough. It's like the fact that we are combined. Oh dude, I'm getting, this sounds like something I'd say if I was just high as fuck, or like something, you know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, it's fucking, but like I do think about these things like often, I really do. And I really like, I get into the nitty gritty, or like, I'll be like, I don't know if it's something that everyone does. I bet it is. But like I'll lie in bed, and before I go to bed, I'll just have like really deep thought. I'll be thinking about so much shit. But like thinking about whether the universe is deterministic or not. But I feel like you just go down a rabbit hole of like, it's not I wouldn't even say it's like I would say it's like unhealthy, because you can't control these things. And that's like how I live my life. It's like, I know of this, and I think I believe it in my heart of hearts, but whether or not I believe it doesn't matter to me because I'll just go about making these choices and thinking I have free will. But
Well,
like,
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think we have free will?
see, if I believe the universe is deterministic, then I inherently don't believe that I
Because
have
our
free will.
minds are a product of the
Yeah, because they're
deterministic
made
nature
up
of the
of
universe.
these atoms and they're made up of
Do you
these chemicals
think-
and energy.
Do
They're
you
going to
think
react that way.
there's evidence, the fact that, or personally in your life, do you think there's things that make you believe that we have free will?
Well, inherently, I think that I don't want to believe that I don't have free will, but in my arguments I make, I have to. It is an assumption. I have to believe that I don't have free will. Hence, it's determined for me, meaning I
Yeah.
have no choice. But like,
Yeah.
obviously, deep
Don't
down,
shoot yourself short, but
yeah, I know.
because,
Deep down, psychologically, I want to believe I have free choice. I want to believe I can pick up that cup whenever. But like, you get yourself in a roundabout type of situation. But like,
Do you think science, generally academia as a whole, disregards the aspect of free will too easily?
I feel like I don't feel like it disregards it. I feel like it doesn't matter to it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just like a question that doesn't need to be answered. I feel like
Do you think they all generally believe we don't have free will, or do you think they just don't want to talk about
no,
it?
because it depends on the field of science. Science is such a massive thing. I feel like
Well, that's sort of what
I feel
I
like
would
if
mean.
we're talking about like science of
Well,
this
that's a good point.
specific,
Yeah.
like quantum physics and stuff like that, I don't think I just
'cause
don't think it matters.
Philosophy would point to the fact that
I don't feel like philosophy is like thought experiments, but I feel it is a field of science, but I don't feel like
well,
it's not a provable field of
well,
science.
this is
you know
where
what I
we
mean?
get into the interesting thing. This is what we talked about in Berwick.
Yeah, theology and
The importance of theology.
I don't know about
philosophy and
I don't know
psychology.
if I believe in the importance of theology,
is-
but I definitely
this is-
believe in
yeah.
I definitely believe in the importance of philosophy because that
Yeah.
was like
Well,
the
this-
creation of science.
Theology, you said.
No, I
You
don't.
don't believe in the importance. You know, theology is that it's not just the study of belief, like if you believe in God, but it's the study of religions through history as well, and the
Yeah,
belief
yeah.
of God and how that affects.
Yeah, I
people.
understand
It
that, but I
ties
still.
closely into philosophy and then into psychology. I want to say though quickly, so this is what I said to Joel in Berwick, was that if you have a perfect world, so through physics, through engineering, through
I don't feel like that's a perfect word. I feel like that just describes.
well,
the
that's
world
what I
we
was
live
saying.
in.
If you could create a utopia through the classic, I guess, which this is what I think. This is why.
This is where we start to disagree on things because they're our fundamentals of reality.
Yeah, well, and this is where you get into why communism and socialism never works, is because they believe you can create a utopia, and that's the physical utopia. Purely everything's physical. Everybody has
At
enough.
a human level.
Yeah, at a purely
And I think that's what's important.
external level, but but there's no regard for
Human nature.
free will, psychology, philosophy, or even theology. Which
But I feel like even capitalist structures or democracy structures fall into bad pits because of human nature. Like
Yep, I would
people
agree.
once they get into the position of power, get greedy and lose the sentiment of someone who's just the Joe Schmo, you know, the classic person living in our world today under this government. Because once they get up there, they're hence the term up there, they're above.
Yeah. I think the benefit that capitalism and democracy have over communism and socialism is the fact that you can make that decision and you can move into that area. In communism and socialism, there's no leeway to move up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Whereas in capitalism, you can move into that area where it becomes corrupt because you have the ability to do so.
So I just
that's
don't
the
feel like we
argument.
have a perfect system yet.
No,
and
no.
I think it's
We
going to
don't.
be a long time
I
before
agree.
we do.
I think so. I believe we've got a long road to go, and I have a lot of hope.
Yeah,
A lot
I
of
have a
hope
lot of
for the
hope too.
future.
I really do hope.
So,
I just honestly, I think it was inevitable that
long-term future.
yeah, I
have a lot
feel
of
like it
hope
was
for.
inevitable that things have come to where they are because, you know, just like the classic progression of technology, like the nuclear
it's-
bomb
yeah.
and stuff like that.
And even like phones, computers, all this is so new.
Yeah, exactly. And I 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, I don't reckon people could have made predictions of what it is now.
No way.
because there are predictions like you hear like people talking 10 years ago and it's like that was so off. That was completely off.
Like airplanes or a nuclear reactors to somebody
Yeah.
60, 70 years ago. Or
Well, there were
bit
nuclear
older than
reactions.
that, 100 years ago.
Yeah, 100 years ago.
100 years ago. Or, 150 years ago at Tesla.
Yeah.
To somebody 150 years ago.
It'd be fucking insane. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, all these, oh, geez, I wish I knew more. There's just so much I don't know. But like, even like about history and shit, like when we're talking about this thing, I'm like, did Einstein, like his general theory of relativity, did like nuclear fusion, was that a thing that was like predicted that could happen? Like it's like a science fiction, but it's based in science, you know what I mean? Like like general physics, like just kinematics and stuff like that. Like you throw a cup, it lands on the ground, it has this much force, etc., etc. Like that could predict planes, but people people just like at a societal level, like planes flying, or like the idea of flying was just so out there. But like I think it was predicted in science beforehand, or like the physics proved that it could happen, or like it could happen, but like the
technology didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like where we are now, like it's insane to think like
Sort of like fringe scientific theories.
I wouldn't say they're fringe. I wouldn't
then.
say they weren't fringe even then, because they had like massive groups of like mathematicians and like scientists that were like Einstein and all these guys. But like I wouldn't say it's fringe. I would say it's just like, because remember, like they didn't have ways to get, like they had newspapers, but like the information wasn't so widely spread and quick, and the average person would be like, obviously just assume that flying's impossible, like for us humans, or like to get something in the air. But obviously they see birds flying, so they're the laws of nature. Like they're flying. They're following the laws of nature. So it's something we could do, but I think it's just people predicted it was probably impossible for us. But like technology advanced and then it became possible. So, who knows what's in store for us for the next 15 years?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a
2030. I don't know what 15 was, such a specific one. Yeah. But yeah, like who knows what will happen? I really can't predict it. And I think anyone who tries to make prediction is very arrogant, Here we go. Dude, like I don't want to feel like I shut Brody down on the biblical thing, but I also don't want it to be like Bible Cast episode 1. I want to might be just selfish to me to think that I want to get more science-based stuff in, but I feel like Brody's such a good talker. He can just talk and talk and talk and talk. And I feel like I can do that too sometimes, but I might not be able to get it out, so I really got to think about more words, because I don't want to say something that makes me look like an asshole or a clown. It's going to be me slowly putting on clown makeup the whole podcast. Damn, I'm fucking hungry, bro. Smash. Big bowl of rice sitting over there for me. I'm just going to eat that and I'm going to drive home. Damn, I got to stop saying, I got so many sayings I keep saying. I keep going, damn, and then I keep saying like too easy. I say, like just shit. I judge people for like being like basic or saying basic shit, but like I'm not perfect and I do stuff all the time. Like I'll say like this, I say damn all the time, like damn, or like if I'm, because on Saturdays I work at the cafe, so I'm always interacting with people. I'm like, I'm like, do you want a receipt? And they go, nah, too easy. Oh, give them the coffee. Too easy. Everything's too easy. But it's just something. It's like it's conversation filler. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's not even too easy.
Well, we're at
pretty
much
up
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it's an hour and a half now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this has been a really good first banger episode.
Yeah, it's a bit late too, so if we do this next time,
we should,
during the day.
It just took us so long to set up, and we had a lot of shit.
And it's Friday, so
and
you were at work.
I was just working all day and I'm just pretty knackered. Yeah. But like this hour and a half flew by. I could but it feels good. It feels good. I feel much more comfortable on camera, especially like when I first sat down, I was like, I just like got really nervous. And then as soon as we started talking, before we started recording, like we were sitting here, it was like kind of a practice run for about 5 minutes. And I just
talking about
felt,
some
I was
cool
just like,
stuff.
this feels good. This feels like natural conversation. And once it just started unfolding and unraveling, you know.
We pretty quick. The first
Yeah.
10 minutes we got into some. I'm hoping people watch it. I'm hoping like in the first few minutes people kind of get like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And
I hope I hope we have
Yeah.
a pool, or like, I hope we have, like, I feel like it'd be good to have like some constructive criticism. Like I know we have flaws. And
constructive
yeah.
criticism.
That's
Oh, I
key
forget
word.
about on the internet. If this gets big, there's gonna be people who are.
Haters.
Yeah, I forget
It-
about that.
It is so arrogant of me to think that will get to that stage, but like it's also it's not arrogant. I think it's
good to
hopeful.
Prepare for it.
I think it's hopeful.
Yeah, it's hopeful. Yeah,
And I
think-
do hate the sound of my own voice, so I will never watch this.
Oh, really?
Or I might watch this. I might watch a bit back, but like I do not
Yeah.
like the sound of my own voice.
Well, I usually watch them just to like see if they've gone alright, but I don't like. It's a long time to sit for an hour and a half to sit there and like listen to you. Like I don't hate
talk. Say
I
the
don't hate-
exact same shit back.
Yeah, well, I don't hate the sound of my voice, but I know like all this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like we really got into some biblical shit today, but we got into a bit of other stuff too.
we did.
And
A
like
lot of,
I had a little bit of paper there with a couple of things on it, but I think
we
I
get-
think
we
think
didn't
we're
get
gonna
through vaccines.
yeah, I think we can save them. We gotta like
Did we
polish
get
them
through
off.
any of them? Morality versus
Literally
atheism.
nothing. Like, no, we didn't even get into morality. We just talked
Yeah.
about like ideas like that have to do with the Bible.
Before, do
And
you
like
wanna...
we kind of got into physics a little bit, but
Yeah.
like, you know, I wanted to go like outer space and physics because I know
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
believe like the universe out there
Well,
exists,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you think
Well-
the planet's flat as well. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Well,
soon.
yeah. My opinion on it is evolving. Or my opinion.
open to
my view on
change.
it. It's open to change.
And I
because-
wanted to
yeah.
talk about like big pharma in general, not just about vaccines, but like
Oh.
Purdue and OxyContin and like the codeine
Yeah.
epidemic.
I could have talked about the nurses. Did I tell you about the nurses?
Yeah, but
who
like
said-
I don't know if I don't. I know they
That's
like
right.
see the
That's-
people face to face, but
that's
they're
more
not doctors.
my
you know?
area, especially like psychology, philosophy, and theology is very. It's not
Not trying to diss
secular
any nurses
scientific.
out there, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm go a lot more off what people, because I believe that inherently, the way people think and the views people have.
I think all
know.
the reason, like, I think a lot of the reason behind people like, for example, the protests, and I know you went to pretty much every one. I
Still
think,
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I still,
Well, when-
I think
when
a
I
lot
did
of
when
the
I
anti-vaccine and anti-this is just people deep down hate being told what to do, and I think if they didn't tell people to like get the vaccine or like didn't mandate anything, I think it would have been slower people uptake on the
But
vaccines.
it might have been more.
But I reckon there would have been more. I just reckon.
I have heard that from people at the protests.
Yeah, I
People
feel
say that.
like I'm not saying my dad is anti-vax, but I don't know if he was giving me a hard time because he likes to shit me or not. But he was like very anti people telling him what to do, or like especially the government telling him to get vaccinated.
Especially when it
he had
comes
like a
to,
small anti-vax resentment because he was being told to do
when
it. But
it comes
he did
to a
it.
medical procedure as well. It's a bit different.
Procedure's a strong word.
Yeah,
I guess it is, but like I don't want to like get into vaccines right now because we'll save that for future.
Well, that's
but
what
like,
I was. Yeah, you can finish. Yeah,
But-
sorry, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
continue. Yeah,
But like, I just feel like that sentiment is that reason. Like
Yeah.
like if I'm about to do the dishes and someone tells me to do the
Oh,
dishes,
yeah,
I'm gonna
the
be like,
classic when you're a kid.
I'm gonna be like,
You're like,
no, I don't
ready
want to fucking do the
You're planning
dishes.
to go out and do them, and then your parents tell you.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just I feel like deep down that's what it is. But I think it's also people being skeptical. But like, obviously, I'm not one of those people. But like, I'm sure I'd kind of like to interact, or I'd like to go to a protest and like not to protest, but
That's
to
right, yeah.
interact with those people who are
The
at the
government
protest.
doesn't really care anyway. They're not going to count
Yeah.
you as like a, as a
Yeah.
protester.
Well,
so.
I feel like that was just me saying I am not for that movement. Or
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
I'm not anti that movement. I'm all for people's right to protest,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Free speech,
Free
right to
speech,
protest,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So I just feel like I'd like to like have a conversation with those people because I think it's
Good
that'd
idea.
It'd be good for my growth. But like, I don't.
I'd stay with you because generally everybody there is kind, but you might get a.
yeah,
Well,
I don't want to feel in danger.
I don't think you would.
No.
If somebody did get heated with you there, most people there would intervene because they realize if things get out of control there,
Yeah.
We can't protest anymore. The news makes us all seem like just bad people. Like everything goes to hell in a handbasket like that. So most people there, but saying
I just
that,
feel like it's
yeah.
healthy to have a conversation.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you could. Yeah. You'd be able to tell me things that you've talked about with people that would give me insight.
Yeah.
You know, if you went there because of the way you think.
I just feel like it's a lot of effort, and I will be like busy this year, but like,
well, they
just
are on the weekends.
Just an idea. I just like to like. It might be healthy.
Also,
for
I drive up there, so if you want to
Yeah.
drive down here, and I'll take you.
And I also like feel like I do. Oh, playing footsies over here under the camera.
should put it
But like
away
I
from
feel
me.
like
Yeah.
I do have like
Sorry.
a lung condition, and
Yeah.
the rate of like.
well, you're one of the people who, you know,
I'd want to be like COVID safe.
I'm on
to an
the
extent.
I'm on the fence about whether vaccines like I'm on the fence about vaccines as up. Like I'm very skeptical and I believe there is a conspiracy regarding COVID, whether I do believe it involves a lot of things. I believe personally, or I think it does. My view is,
I know we said we wouldn't get into it, but I feel like we're getting into it a little.
Yeah, well,
we'll see where we
go.
Dipping our toes in the water right
dipping
now.
our toes in the water. But for somebody, if and again, this is where I was getting, whether the vaccine is effective or not is something I have
This particular
with.
one.
These particular COVID vaccines, or coronavirus vaccines since the beginning of 2020, these particular coronavirus vaccines, whether they're effective or not, nonetheless, you would be the person who, if they are effective, but theoretically, or you would say realistically, should get them because you're at risk.
And like
whereas somebody like me, no comorbidities, young, the risk of me dying from COVID is
very
astronomically low.
But it
and then for me
will reduce the symptoms. Like getting COVID will cause like inflammation of the heart and like a few problems that have been seen in men our age.
But
and
also
like
getting the vaccine.
Yes,
also
I know
causes
getting the
inflammation
vaccine,
of heart.
but the percentage compared to getting COVID is really low. But I know that argument, like
2 years.
we're choosing to get the vaccine, but like whether or not we get COVID is like up in the air. So it's like inflicting ourselves that damage instead of just like taking the risk that we will get that damage. And I understand that argument, and I don't really want to get into it tonight. But like, I know. But I mean, we will start to wrap it up, but I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I don't care.
this is like a teaser for the next one.
Yeah.
But we will get
COVID.
into this. I'm just
The
saying.
COVID podcast.
I have a lung condition.
Is
I'd be like worried.
my
Can
mic-
you imagine?
Is it? Oh yeah, no, it's good.
Can you
It's
imagine
just-
if we didn't click record? I'd cry like a
No, it's
baby.
recording. I was just looking at the yellow bar. Am I? Oh yeah, I'm loud enough. Yeah. That's
Anyway.
fine. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, I'd feel like I have a lung condition, immunocompromised. If I was going to go to,
Do you want to clarify?
oh
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
yeah,
if I was to go to one of those protests, like, in my opinion, the risk of COVID spreading through there and like the risk of COVID of a big group of vaccinated people versus the risk of COVID of a big group of unvaccinated people, which those people would most likely be.
Arguably now.
Yeah, well, I don't want.
Came out. They said you couldn't spread it with the vaccine, and then
Yeah, I know, but like
So-
I don't want to get into that right
Yeah,
now. But like
that's okay. That's
talking
okay, yeah.
about like how I see the world, and in my like realistic opinion, realistic coming from me,
Yep.
like not
Yep.
like coming from you, but like in my opinion, there'd be a higher rate of like transferring from one another and a higher chance of me getting it. But I'm just saying that now, like we don't have to get into it, but like that's a risk I'd be willing to take, just have those conversations. But I don't think we.
True aspects.
All right, I'll give you these two.
Cortisol and vitamin D.
Yeah, like
People
I
have
don't want to
to-
get into this
yeah.
like
So
Joe Rogan-esque shit right now.
Well, these are cortisol. High levels of stress produces more cortisol, which weakens your immune system, which means you get sick easier and worse. Vitamin D, again, that's Joe Rogan. I get what you're saying, but people at the protest less stressed because they're around people who are similar, and vitamin D because they're in the sun.
Yeah,
all the
but I
time.
in
So-
my opinion, that doesn't outweigh like
No,
what the
it's
vaccines
just
do.
a point how.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Just my side.
Yeah.
So, but
All right.
do we want to finish on the COVID?
I think so. I think
So-
that was a teaser for the next one.
Anything else you just want to lightly touch on before we end it off?
No, I think we're good. I think that's good. I
Yeah.
really liked it. I feel like the next one's going to be way better.
Do you reckon?
'Cause-
Well, hopefully
not
during
way
the
better,
day.
but like
If
I
it's
think
during the day.
significantly, yeah, because I've
We won't
worked
get
all
tired.
day and then
So I'm
it's
feeling
like pretty
like
late.
it's
I'm
harder
literally going through this and I was like
Yeah.
yawning like this, like
I saw you yawn before. I was like, it must be getting late. That was like half an hour ago. So.
Yeah. But I feel like I hope we haven't been like yammering and it's not like late night fucking, talk, and then we watch it tomorrow and it's just like fucking nonsense. But I think it's okay. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking tight. I can't wait. I'm hyped for people to watch this. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I'm also hyped for dinner. I'm hungry.
Oh
as
yeah, the
fuck,
rice,
bro.
Yeah. Well, I guess on ending notes, thanks for watching. Me and Joel from Melbourne. We're in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Not to dox ourselves, but
Give our home address.
what do they call the most livable city in the world? Maybe not at the moment, but we're definitely going back that way. And in the future, we will be the most livable city in the world again.
Yeah.
Can guarantee it. It'll be my
been
my
coughing
life's
all day.
work. Where
Can't
my
spit on
Joel's
the
too.
mic.
This is
I
our
grab my
city.
dick.
This is where we're from.
I call it park.
I don't know what you're saying, but I've contemplated moving to New South Wales to be able to work. But again, I love Melbourne. I love Cranbourne.
I think you'll be alright
doxing
soon.
myself. But the city of Casey, yeah, and I hope so. And I think we've got a long way to go, and I've got a lot of hope for my area. I love Gippsland too. Not just, and I also love West Melbourne and Echuca.
Damn, you just be calling out places.
I know. But you get why I did that?
Yeah.
Because anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, from Melbourne, Australia.
It's most likely our friend's going to be watching this first.
Yeah.
At least. But if it ever gets out, like, if it breaks that barrier, it'd be great.
Yeah. So we both make music. I've got a new album coming out sooner or later. Joel's he's sort of getting his foot in the door.
Foot in the door.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to do it more.
He's been doing some work that I haven't really known about. So that's good to know because he's been kind of doing a little bit. Harry Booth.
Surfer Boy
Surfer
on
Boy.
SoundCloud.
Asa
We're just going to shout all our mates
It's
out.
coming out now. It should be out. It might be out now. I don't want to have a look because I want to keep talking, but I'm going to check after this is over. His album's coming out soon. I'm going to share it anyway. I think Joel probably will too. Check out his album. Casey up in where he lives.
Dude, I'm going to shield this on my Instagram so bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to just like tag this podcast. I'm going
You
to be
should
like,
take
watch
this
that
clip and put it. Also, after we're done, we're going to have to, we could do it at the end. We're going to have to kind of just sit here for a bit just to get a good photo. Maybe we could do a couple poses and then I can just edit that out.
Yeah.
But Casey, making music in Druin with the studio where we, the jam location. So
Jam location.
shout out to him and hopefully he gets his new laptop soon. Casey, if you're watching, thank you for everything. So yeah, to anybody else watching, family, friends, girlfriends, maybe my girlfriend will be watching future wife. Friends, John from
Local
Echuca,
Christian chicks in your area.
John from Echuca Community Church, although not in Echuca at the moment, but if you're watching this, Diego, just thinking of people I'm going to share
Literally
it with.
15 minutes.
Jeremy, anybody who's watching, family, friends, we thank you. Appreciate your time, especially if you watch the whole thing. Anybody.
Damn, if you watch the whole thing, you're fucking crazy.
We appreciate it. If you watch the whole thing, I don't know, leave a comment, mention something regarding this. Mention one of the places.
571.
There you go. 571.
And it's like eligible for one kiss on the cheek.
From Joel. Maybe I'll give you a hug, but the Bible says anyway. So yeah, and hopefully we've got a lot of hope for the future long term, with things going on at the moment, Russia and Ukraine, it's
pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's very gnarly,
dude,
but
I just want to our conversations do get very deep and political, but it can be a bit funny. We can throw in a bit of funnies, a few funnies. But we get our friends on as guests and shit.
I want
to.
It'd
be hype.
Yeah.
Fucking.
We'll have to get one of those.
Yeah.
You see Timcast podcast. They have multiple seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Rogan has a few. So
we got to figure out a name for this as well.
Yeah.
If you have any good suggestions, I'd like to hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Brody make a podcast. Kind of tight. This has been so much fun. It's just so nice,
It is.
Yeah. Hype.
So yeah.